Hey, what's up, comrades? It's time. It's always fucking time. Time for Cold War. That is not a Black Ops, just Call of Duty Cold War, which is a direct sequel to. Well, so we had the PlayStation Vita game, which I was unable to play, and I tried again later on, and it's just not going to work unless I get the game or hack my Vita, which I'm just not. I'm good. So. There's two pathways off of that, right? There's the early pathway, which leads right into Cold War, and then there's the later pathway, which leads right into Call of Duty Black Ops. And so Cold War actually fits in right there. So technically, you beat that last level with Mason Woods, and then you play all of Call of Duty Cold War, and then we go back to the Vita and play that game that takes place in like 81. I think it was 81. And then we jump forward. No, because this game takes place in 80. It's later 80s. And then we jump into Black Ops 2, which again has like a weird kind of future, present, past situation going on. Anyway, so this game, Cold War, starts off with Reagan talking about, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment, and leave a review or whatever. Okay, so it starts off, we get another one of these like kind of Black Ops things where it's just like we're getting all sorts of like news feeds or like real life stuff. And Reagan's talking about the American spirit and all this other kind of like real life broadcast stuff. Then we get a guy named Black. He's discussing a hostage situation with Reagan. And there's two guys. There's Arash and Qassam, who are somehow engaged with this thing. And so we need to track down the hostage situation and let the terrorists know that like we will not allow terrorism or they will die. Then Mason and Adler are talking about trusting someone while they are in Amsterdam in 1981. A police chief walks up and tells them we are ready, and Adler mentions Woods. Apparently we need to take this Qasim guy alive, as he's going to give us the information of Arash is so we can figure out the hostage situation or at least get revenge or something. Anyway, so we bust into this place and Qasim runs for it. And so we blast, kill a bunch of guys, run along roofs and all that good stuff. And then we capture him and we kind of torture him. It's not like pulling fingernails or any of that shit. It's like we hold him over the edge, and then at some point Adler, who's tired of us like fucking around, runs and like throws one of the guys we killed, or who's not dead, like off the building, and he's like, "You're next, motherfucker." And so Qasim is like, all right. I'm gonna meet Arash at Turkey, somewhere on this airfield, something. And then we get the option for Mason to like let him go or to shoot him or to do something else. We're like, all right, you're good to go. I said you could be free if you told us the question. And so we let him, or we can push him off the edge. So we're just like, all right, he's like dusting himself off, and then Adler pulls out a gun and shoots him. And he's like, all right, moving on. And so we haven't met Adler yet, but he plays a prominent role in these games. I don't know if it's the first time he shows up. I don't remember if he shows up in Black Ops 2, but definitely Black Ops 6. He's like around. He wears glasses and has a sweet scar on his face, as you can see if you look at the video. But if not, that's what he looks like. And he's kind of like a no nonsense kind of guy who gets like the fucking job done no matter what. So 18 hours later in Turkey, we sneak up on a plane, and we're still Mason, and we got like our little sniper rifle business. And we need to get a positive ID on Arash before we kill him, so we make sure that we got him and we have proof. And there's a lot of that in this game, which is another one of the things I like, where it's a lot of sneaking around. It's a lot of we got to take pictures of dudes, got confirmed kills and all that stuff. Which I don't know about the new modern. Again, I haven't played any of the new Modern Warfare games, so maybe they have more of this kind of sneaky business. But it seems like when I was playing these games originally with my friend, if you listen to all the way back to my first video of World War II, he's like, oh, these Black Ops games. I forget why I don't like him that much. But he definitely likes the Modern Warfare, and he plays like the Warzone all the time and stuff. Anyway, so we're just kind of watching and keeping quiet and hiding out. And after a bit, like a truck pulls up, and then a man walks up to it, and then he kills everyone inside. And it's Arash. Cool. So we go to snipe him, but then one of his minions like steps in the way at the last second, which is kind of stupid because I clearly had a clean shot. So fuck you, game. Just don't let me take the shot, motherfuckers. It's like in Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare for like the PlayStation 3, when you like shoot Zakharov, and you just get his arm instead when you're playing as good old Captain Price. But anyway, so the firefight begins. So we fought our way to the plane, and then it kind of takes off. So then we have to hop in a Jeep, and we're chasing after it, and we're shooting other things. And then at some point we get like an RC car with like a bomb on it, and we have to run it up to the plane and blow it up right before it takes off. And then it blows up, like all sorts of shit goes on because you blew up a fucking plane. And there's like jeeps and plane pieces and everything, and it's like fuck, and like the wings going, and we get knocked out of the jeep, and there's like this whole big fucking crash, and everyone's dead, or a lot of people are dead, but Adler, Woods, Mason, we're all good, and guess who else survived? Arash! Hooray! We did it. We got him alive. And then we're like, the fuck, man, you and the hostages, what do you think you're fucking doing? Something. And Arash is like, he like giggles to himself like a little schoolgirl, and he's like, oh, you think the hostages, that's the point. The point is not the hostages, you dumbasses. Like, you're missing the point. So good luck figuring it out, assholes. and then we yell at him, and he yells back, and then it's like, the point is to destroy the West. And then who's going to destroy the West? Who? Perseus. Oh, fuck. Adler's like, God damn it. Fucking Perseus. Like, who's Perseus? Anyway, so Adler kills Arash at that point and says, we got to tell Hudson and get back to Langley. So we do. But before that, Woods speaks for all of us in his soul, which is why he's one of the best characters. And he's like, who the fuck is Perseus? Amen, brother. So anyway, during a cutscene, Hudson explains that Perseus is a Russian spy who stole information like all the way back in World War II at the Manhattan Project, as well as he had some like shenanigans he was involved with in Vietnam. And he's considered like a #1 threat by the CIA. And there's people who believe he is just a myth. Like the name Perseus keeps coming up and stuff, and no one's actually like seen the guy or whatever. And it's like, is he actually a person, or is it just like we're attributing all this like random bullshit to like one guy when it's not one guy or whatever. At that point, Hudson introduces Adler, who he's especially suited for this attack against Perseus, and then they go back and forth. Sorry, hold on. They go back and forth about Perseus and the need to address it. Adler says something big is going to happen, and because every time Perseus comes up, something big happens, and he's always involved. And then at that point, we're in Langley for all this stuff. At that point, Reagan walks in, right? So we had Kennedy in the last game, or in 2 games ago, and then now we have, or 3 games ago, actually, shit. And now we have Reagan, because now it's the 80s, and he asks, hey, I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Oh, yeah, we're all having like this meeting at Langley, and there's all these other like random bullshit guys. Anyway, he asks, can we stop Perseus? And then this guy, Haig, he starts getting on our asses because we're requesting all this stuff, and he's like, motherfuckers, this stuff's illegal. And then Woods and Mason, who I don't know why they're here, they're just like guns for hire, essentially. Like, what? These guys are always flying off, they're always getting into crazy shenanigans and like blowing shit up and like flying planes into shit and whatever. So they get all uppity about like, fuck you, everything we do is illegal. Fair and balanced. He literally says that all our missions are illegal. What the fuck are you talking about? And then one of these guys is like, yeah, but we got plausible deniability and stuff. And then Reagan's like, all right, it doesn't matter. We need this team. You guys get the job done. You're the best. Mason, you're the best. High five. I love you. Praise me, Mason and Woods. They always get the job done. Which again is no facts. And so to protect the free world, we got to get this shit done. So make it happen. And then the one guy's all upset about it, like whiny. And then 5 weeks later, we get more of this guy Black, who's asking Hudson about the team. And then Hudson's explaining, like, so there's Park, she's a British MI6, there's Laser, he's a CIA guy who worked for, like, Mossad, and he's an Israeli citizen and all that stuff. And then there's Sims. Sims is, like, an old CIA buddy. Bell, who we're now playing, is kind of, like, the main character, sort of. And Adler, we all worked together in, like, Vietnam during Dan King's, like, the Tet, right before the Tet Offensive, which is at the same time as the same mission that Woods and Mason and Hudson had, like, on the other side of the area. So the whole idea is that we need to get some information so we can track down Perseus, and that information we got as Bell, and we get to design like our own character with some like fancy traits, and the traits are pretty much like, can you like cook a grenade longer? Do you auto aim a little bit faster? Shit like that, right? And then we get to give ourselves like where we're from, who are we, like, were we MI6 before, were we CIA before, yada yada yada. So that's all fun. So that's like we get to craft our identity somewhat. Let's see. And then what's Hudson, the new guy? Bell, Hudson mentions it. Oh yeah. Okay. So Hudson's like concerned about us as Bell, and tells tells Adler he needs to keep an eye on us and all that stuff. Anyways, we're walking up to like this safe house in 1981 in West Germany, in West Berlin specifically. We meet up with Park outside, and Park's a cutie. She's got short black hair and a soft face and kind of like a piggy nose. But all the boys in the schoolyard are like vying for her attention. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. Anyway, so we don't have the information on Perseus, so we got to like lay down, and Sims and I and Sims and Bell and Adler have to like recall their time in Vietnam, where they found some information that could lead to Perseus, and they got to like retrace their steps through like some sort of hypnosis bullshit or whatever. Anyway, this game gives us this opportunity to be in the safe house periodically, and in the safe house we can like meander about and like chat with people. And so we get all this information from everybody. We talk about Adler's scar, and Park says don't ask about it. He doesn't tell anybody. There's like a mission board where we can like replay old missions and stuff, and then we can collect evidence and read the evidence, which will give us like more information. And it's pretty cool. I forgot how like fun and like these aren't just like first-person shooters at this point, like especially with the Black Ops series. There's like all sorts of like other shenanigans going on. I think it started with 3, but we'll see when we get there. But definitely Cold War and Black Ops 6 have this kind of like base building aspect. Not really base building, but like you can like interact like a home base and do all this stuff. Anyway, so we start recalling Operation Fractured Jaw, which Operation Fractured Jaw, I don't know if it was a real thing, but the game claims it's a real thing, so whatever. Anyway, it was this idea where they planted a bunch of nuclear bombs in like all the major cities in Europe, just in case like the Soviets got like frisky, so they could like burn like salt the fields on the way out and kind of stop the Russian aggression. And then there was like they were taking like nuclear bombs to Vietnam as well to like blow the shit out of that in case things went south. And that never really happened, but the original mission that we're recalling, this Sims, Adler, and Bell had to go because it had to do with like this nuclear bomb. But in the process of that's where they found information about Perseus, and that's the information we're trying to like recall from this. Okay. So Adler has his Special Operation Group team, and this is in '68. Dan King. Okay. Takes place. We're gonna call it. Okay. Sims, before we go into like our like memories or whatever, Sims says it's like looking for a needle in a haystack and mentions that Fractured Jaw went real sideways. All right, so then we like get woken up by Adler in like 1968, right, in the past, and he's like, "Come on, man, let's go." And we're like in Hastings Air Base or something, and we're looking around. Oh, Haskins Air Base. We talked to like a couple dudes, and we meandered out to like this airfield that the Army Air Force has set up, a bunch of helicopters and all that crap. And we meet up with Sims, and Sims looking at porn. Yep, Adler's like, "Hey man, that stuff's gonna make you go blind," and I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so we're gonna hop in this helicopter, and we're gonna go to like what is this place called? Like RIP, like the RIP something. Anyway, we're going somewhere to get something, but on the way, as we're like heading off, Adler's like, "Hey, helicopter guy, we're gonna make a quick pit stop somewhere else." So we do. So there's like an asset we need to secure at this other base, but before we do that, we're gonna go get this info that we're looking for, and we're breaking away because we need to find out about Perseus and see how much like the Spetsnaz are like involved with this whole situation in Vietnam. So we ride into this town, and as we do, we light it up with a minigun, and we're killing Viet Cong all over the fucking place. And then we land and we blast our way through the town until we run into some Russians. We report to Adler, and then we grab this comms log, and that's like what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to recall. At that point, we like scooch our way back out of this town, hop on a chopper, and fly up to Ripcord. Yeah, it was Ripcord. I was right. And at this point, we get to control the helicopter completely. And why the fuck not? I guess Bell is a master of all things. And this actually kind of sucks. Like anytime you got to control these vehicles in these games, they're just not made for it. They don't control that well. And then it's just like you're trying to shoot stuff, but you're like at a third degree. Like you're sitting behind the helicopter trying to shoot at stuff. And if it wasn't for like the big fucking like target they paint on it with like the little symbols and whatnot, it'd be like almost impossible. You have to like really cruise in there, and it's like that's how this works, man. Like these guys got like these helicopter pilots, they get real close, obviously, but they're also like in the cockpit and they can like see shit that's going on. Like nothing's that far away, and like we're like all the way across, like we're like a mile away firing rockets at like some target and just praying to God that it hits like the thing under the target. Like it's kind of ridiculous. Like it's just not fun at all. So I don't understand why they keep doing this kind of shit, but whatever. Anyway, We get to Ripcord, it's under heavy attack, we gotta blast the whole like hillside that it's on, and eventually we land, get the nuke, and it's like time to go, and we're like, alright, cool, and then we get hit and crash land. Fun. Then we gotta hold off the Viet Cong while we wait for like air support to come in, and we get knocked out for a second. No, we don't get knocked out yet. So, like, one of the pilots gets blown out of the helicopter when it's crashed, and then we get shot, like, immediately. And then Sims and Adler are trying to, like, drag the nuke out of the way so it doesn't explode when it gets hit by, like, rounds, I guess, or something. And we're just, like, firing. And then the air support comes in, and it blasts to shit. And it's, like, super close. And so, right as it's, like, blasting everything away, Adler, like, grabs us and throws us behind a rock. And the magic of this rock protects all of us from, like, the blast, which kills all the Viet Cong. And it's like, all right, we did it. We crushed it. Oh yeah, we did get knocked out. We got hit by an RPG at some point and get knocked out. And it's like, cool. And then we keep during the mission, we keep hearing that this was the first time that Perseus came up on the radar. And then we hear some other lines, like multiple times. And I don't know if at first I was like, is this trying to like key me into like a Mason-like situation? But no, I think it's just because we're supposed to be in like our memories or like a hypnotic state. And so what comes up is like, oh yeah, we're just hearing this stuff because we're like trying to recall this thing. Anyway, we go back to the present, which is now February 1981. And this whole game takes place between like, after this mission, the beginning mission, it's just like, hey, remember Black Ops 1? I know we played it like 2 games ago now, but this is like, Cold War came out like a decade or more after Black Ops did. So it's like, hey, you remember killing Viet Cong? Wasn't that great? Didn't you love killing the Vietnamese? We can do it again for a minute. All right, back to killing Germans and Russians. Because this is like February 1981, and then I don't think we go to 1982. I think this whole game like wraps up in like 1981, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so it's like 4 hours after we like had our like hypnotic recall situation, and Hudson and Black again over like the phone are discussing what Bell remembered, some intel, and that the memory dive bullshit that we did, it worked. We got some information, and then we are like in the safe house as Bell, and Park is explaining that to everyone that Volkov is a name that stands out from all the intel, and that he is tied to Perseus. And then it's like, hey, we're at Mason and Woods. I know they were here before, but I guess they're still in this game. And they're like, oh yeah, they're in Kyiv doing some random bullshit. And in my head, I'm like, is that from Black Ops 2? No, that's from the PlayStation Vita game, I would assume, because they were tying it all in, right? Because they were in Kyiv as part of that game. Yeah, they definitely were. So that this is like taking place, I guess, like simultaneously with that game there. Anyway, so Park mentions that MI6 really wants to capture Volko, because they've been chasing him for like 7 fucking years. And then we do our little chit chats with everyone. Park mentions that we decrypted all the info from the intel we got in Dan Ning, which we don't remember doing that, but apparently Bell is like a master at decrypting things, and that comes up later when we do some like optional side missions. Simpson informs us that he's no longer going out on missions, that he's running the shop, that he can get us anything. We ask him a bunch of like random bullshit, like, hey, can you give me like a clown car with like a machine gun on top that shoots like sharks? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. Who's gonna pay for it, motherfucker? They're like, oh, that wasn't as fun. And then when we're talking to Sims, he gets a call, and it's for Adler. Adler takes him to the room. So we spy Adler, and he's talking to somebody. It's very shady. He's looking through a bag at some files, and then he mentions a month. And then we go back to Sims, and he tells us that that he was tracking Volkov back in the day, like in Italy. And that's like all the people we can talk to. Anyway, so mission time. So we're going to focus on Frank Kraus. So we're trying to get Volkov, but Volkov's like he's like an associate of Perseus, but he's like a big fish. And so to catch the big fish, so Perseus is like the whale, and to catch the whale, we need to get like a big fish, and to catch the big fish, we need to get a little fish. And the little fish is Frank Kraus, who is information. He's an information broker that works specifically for Volkov. And so we got to follow him so that we can get a lead on Volkov. And to do that, we got to head over the wall to East Berlin. Hooray! So we're just riding the subway train with Park and Adler and Laser. And yeah, Laser is his name. Or Lazar. I don't know, it's Lazer. So take that for what you will. Anyway, so at some point, Park's like, all right, the back train is, or Laser comes up and he's like, hey, the back cart is empty. So we go back there, and then Park opens the back door, and Adler and I just like roll the fuck out. And we're like, cool, we'll see you guys later. And then we got to dodge away from some like secret police, some Russian Gestapo or whatever. I can't remember if Gestapo's the Nazis or the Russians. Anyway, but some secret police while we're in the subway, and we kill some of them. and are able to get out. And as soon as we hop out of the subway, we get approached by 2 more guards, or 2 more like secret police, or just policemen actually. And they're like, and then Adler's like chit-chatting with them for a second, and then we kill them too, because fuck them and their families, I guess. Just doing their goddamn job. Yeah, I guess no love lost there. And we head up a building. We go through a building, and then we head up to a roof, and there we find Kraus. We have a camera, and he's like, all right, find the guy. He's got this kind of thing, and this is what it looks like. So we look at everybody, and eventually we find him. And then he enters this cafe so we can meet up with Volkov. And so we head down to meet up with the contact, and the contact has a blue umbrella. So we head inside the cafe, and we find this like redheaded chick who's like our contact in Germany, and she's been working with the CIA and stuff for years, and she's got like assets. And she tells us that one of her assets is Richter asshole, and you'll see why he's an asshole later. But this Richter asshole is he got captured, and so we either go and take care of him or kill him or do something with him, right? And at that point, we see, and her name's Greta. We see, we turn on. We have like a pack of cigarettes with like a microphone in it, and so we point it at Kraus and just kind of sit and wait. And then some secret police come in, and she also mentions that Kraus is ex-Stasi, so he's not like anyone to fuck around with. He's not just like some information broker. He's like he knows what he's doing. He's like a good spy and a good fighter and all that good stuff. Anyway, so a man comes in and tells Kraus that he's being followed, and that he needs to go, and that he'll be contacted later, and they can meet up with Volkov later. And then she's like, "Hey, you need to go to the bathroom quick and get out of here." And so we head to the bathroom and hop out the like tiny little window out back while she like distracts people or something. And then we sneak around for a bit, and we can like target guys with our camera, and we just try to stay in the shadows and not cause too many problems. And we eventually find Richter in like this basement thing, and so we kill the guards over him, and then we find some paperwork that says like he's a double agent. Like essentially he's turned on. So he turned on the Russians, and then he like turned back against us. So even though he's working for Greta, he's not really working for Greta. And then we can make a decision here. We can like let him go, or we can kill him, or we can like do something. Like fuck it, whatever. I'll let him go. That's no big deal. Next, eventually, we meet up with Laser, and he leads us, and he's just like hanging out outside, and he leads us to Park, who's like overwatching Kraus's apartment in this like old electronics store or whatever. Just that's like. It's interesting because we're like being sneaky and hiding and stuff, and she's just hanging out in this electronics store. And then we're done talking to her. We just like walk out the front door, and there's just like police standing around, and like no one seems to fucking care that we walked out of like a closed electronics store. All right, whatever. We do get told that like the police will question us if we get too frisky with them or whatever. But we literally just like walk out the front door of the electronics store and then walk right into the apartment complex where Kraus lives. All right, fair enough. And our goal now is to go up into his apartment and put a tracker in his briefcase so that we can follow him to Volkov. And this is a cute little part of the game. We get like extra points in our heart, I guess, if we don't get caught, or if we don't like knock out the wife or something. I don't know. The mentions like try to like not do anything with the wife, and then we also, Kraus has a kid that we weren't aware of, Park wasn't aware of. So we sneak around and sneak, and eventually we get into like his office, and inside his office we find like a secret room with like pictures and stuff. We find his briefcase, we put the tracker in his briefcase, and then we hear like a noise. And so we go to like a wall, and there's like another secret wall in this place. And we open it up, and it's Greta! And she's like, rrr, rrr, rrr. And then apparently Richter ratted Greta out because we turn around, and then Kraus is there, and he knocks us out. And then we get woken up, we're in like a factory or something. Yeah. It's like an old warehouse, an old factory. And Volkov's there, and Richter's there, and Kraus is there, and they're all chit-chatting, and we're going to get killed, and Greta's tied up with us and whatever, and we're looking up, and there's like this big skylight, and then we see some shadows, and we're like, oh cool, it's our homies. And it is, because they bust open the windows and blast gas down into the thing, and then start shooting dudes, and then we get rescued by Park, and then we grab a gun, and we got to chase down Volkov. And we find out that Volkov at this point tells us that Perseus has a bounty on us, specifically on Bell, and that's like the last we ever hear about that. Okie dokie. Oh man. And he also says we're damaged goods, which is kind of interesting take. And then let's see, Park rescues us. Oh yeah, we chase and capture him. And then the information he gives is that the that there's a nuke that got snuck into the area, into Berlin. And then finally, Mason and Woods are done with whatever fucking stuff they were doing in the Vita game in Declassified. And so they're coming back from Kyiv. They're going to join... Oh, they're going to join us from Kyiv because we're going to sneak into some sort of complex. This takes us to Ukraine, where Bell, as us, is teamed up with Woods. And we're investigating this like ridiculously huge looking complex, like Lord Christ. And the whole point is that we're gonna snipe in, sneak around, be all sneakypotamus, and then get into this thing, take some pictures, maybe find some information, decode some stuff, yada yada yada. So we roll up and we kill these 4 guards, like bam 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 bam, and Woods is like, holy shit, bro, good job. And then Woods is like, all right, I'm gonna do Overwatch here. You good luck getting in there with all that stuff. And so, you know, we walk around, we pick some door locks, we hide, we sneak around, we kill some dudes with silent pistols or the silent sniper rifle, which is absurd, but whatever. And then at some point we get to we sneak past like an APC, and then we get to a door, and as we're unlocking it, the door opens, and this Russian guy drags us in, and it kicks us in the face, and is about to shoot us when Woods busts in, fucks that guy up, and then we pull out our pistol and shoot the guy that's like at the desk behind this whole like chicanery. And then it's like, all right, cool, we found that we're inside the complex. And then we do some more like team up killing with Woods. We find some more like data, because in this level there's all sorts of like maps and stuff. You can take a picture with your camera, and you got to do it like 3 times to unlock like some of the stuff so that you can get the good ending to the game. Which going back to my previous no, I haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, no, we'll get there. So there's like 2 optional missions, and to get like, I don't know, it's not even like the good ending, because there's like there's kind of a bad ending and then a good ending. And then if you do like these 2 side quests, but you do like all the intel mini games first and you do them correctly, then you get like the good ending plus, where it's like, congratulations, you not only defeated Perseus, but you also caught this guy, and then you caught all these guys and stopped this thing from happening. Congratulations. All right, good. So that's why we're collecting intel along the way and evidence. All right. At that point, we like bust through a door, and it's like an arcade from like the 1980s. And Woods is like, the fuck? There's all these mannequins standing around and stuff. And then it looks exactly like suburban like America. It calls it like every town America or something. And then we see these like Russian like special forces guys like moving around or doing some sort of like training, some live fire training in there. And then Woods is like, ooh, let's get these guys some real life fire. And so we do. We just roll around and start murking dudes in this like American suburb. It's pretty delicious. And just kill. And then we get to the end, and we hop over this thing, and oh no, it's a heavy. Yep, there's heavies in this. This guy's got all sorts of like body armor, and he can barely move, but he's got a minigun. And so he's just like lighting us up. And the way to kill him is to shoot him in the head a bunch of times. So we do. And then once we do, Woods, some other guys pop out of an elevator, and then Woods hops down, and then we take this elevator up. And then at the top, we find a computer that we can hack, and we learn about Operation Greenlight. So Operation Greenlight is an operation where America like put all these nukes in European cities. I might have mentioned this before, and with the idea that like if the Russians invaded, we would just nuke the shit out of them. And then also, no, I think that was it. I'm trying to remember. I think we also so Operation not Enduring Freedom, the one in Vietnam, I think that's kind of related to Operation Greenlight. It's like, because it's not just European cities, it's like every city like around the Soviets, and we would just nuke the shit out of all of them. And then we also find some recordings with Hudson where he clearly knows what Operation Greenlight is, and he's very involved. And then Woods calls Park about the data, and that it looks like that Perseus wants to get one of these nukes so that he can set it off somewhere. And she's like, get back. And then we also, Woods is all pissed off that Hudson knows more than he's letting on, making our job harder and putting us in danger and whatnot. So anyway, then we escape out of there. We kill, get some more evidence. And then we kill some more heavies, which is easy now because I picked up that minigun the guy before was using. So I just gotta like crouch, aim at the head, and just like enjoy and just consume brains. And at the end of the level, we hop in an APC and just like hilariously like drive around. Well, we don't drive around. Woods drives around. We just like murk and blow up everything in the way, and then we punch our way out. And then back at the safe house, Woods runs up and starts punches Hudson. It's like, the fuck, you didn't tell us about all this stuff. Fuck you. Woods is a great character, by the way. In this whole series thus far, the best character is Reznov, hands down, and then Woods. And then Mason is kind of a hilarious character because he's got like the Guido, like the Guido grease over. It's like, I'm like, is he supposed to be Italian? Because that's what he looks like. And he's hanging along. He's like he's like Woods' girlfriend. He's always tagging along with Woods, and because in the story it's like Mason doesn't say much, but every time he does, he's like with Woods, and Woods and him like are like, oh, this motherfucker thinks we're a hero, or this guy, and then because we play Mason, so he doesn't like talk too much, but Woods is always like jibber jabbing and having like conversations. Like, it's pretty funny, and and Woods looks like chiseled old as fuck. Well, Mason again looks like a 20-year-old greaser. Every time we see him, it's pretty good. God damn. Anyway, so he's punching him, and he's like, "Fuck you!" And then all the boys are arguing about the nuke, and then Adler like storms off, and then Hudson calls. Oh no, Adler's like, "You got to be honest, something," and Hudson laughs and is like, "You talking about someone else being honest? Get the fuck out of here!" And they keep looking over at you. And then finally Hudson's like, all right, let me tell you about Project Greenlight. So back in 58, we put nukes in every major European city. And then 78, we upgraded them, it seems, to like bioweapons so that we can kill, or just bigger nukes, so that we can kill people and preserve. No, he says something about bioweapons. And the idea is that it'll kill all the people, like the invading army and stuff, but at least the land will be preserved, like the buildings and the art and shit. And then like Mason and Woods have like words about that because they're like, fuck art. Fuck that. And then it was a couple weeks ago, the CIA or whoever had realized that Perseus got their hand on one of the nukes. So then Hudson turns to the table and blames us for not killing Perseus back in Vietnam. And then there's some arguments about that. And then while they're doing that, Park she pulls out the intel that we got, and she's like, hey, they're doing a lot of stuff. Seems like the nuke might be in Yamato, or there's something there that we need to go check out. And that's when Woods brings up, and as they continue to like discuss and argue, that Hudson and Weaver. Well, wait, you guys remember that game like 2 games ago? You got to remember, they bring it up as if like, oh no shit, I had no idea Hudson and Weaver. When it's like, I literally played that like technically in the chronology of it like 3 games ago because it was in Black Ops 1. But this game came out in like, I don't even know, like 2016 maybe, and Black Ops came out in like 2007. So it's been like 10 years if you play all these games. But if you're just like picking up Cold War because now you play Call of Duty in like the 2010s, mid 2010s, late 2010s, then it's like, oh hey, just so you know, this happened. And that we'd like reemphasize that like Hudson and Weaver went in there and just destroyed the shit out of that with like an avalanche. And then we get some talk about Dracovic and Steiner and how they were killed and how Mason and Woods took care of that problem. And then and it's like, all right, so Mason and Woods are gonna go hit up Yamato. Yeah, because that's where Perseus is setting up his base. And then so now we're into March 1981, and so Mason and Woods get dropped off by Belkov. He's a Russian double agent. He's like a head of security for the KGB or something. And apparently he loves the Cubs. So sad for him. Anyway, it's another sniper mission. I love Black Ops games. So it's we get another sniper mission where we just walk across this beautiful like snowy mountain range in Russia, and we're killing dudes with snipes. And Woods is hanging along, and we zipline, and we do some zipline kills, and then it's more sniping. Oh, it's so good. And then finally we see the old blown up station that Hudson Weaver took care of. And as we're about to zipline into the new area, the zipline breaks, and then we fall, and we almost fall to our death as we're playing Mason at this point. And we crash, and we drop all our guns, which is like, no, my sniper rifle, no. And then we're like in the base, but we got to come in through like the sewer. And now it's sneaky time, stealth time mission, so that's okay. I also like that. So we're sneaky, we get a little sneaky bit, and then we find a thing that we got to like break into to get like a sweet ass pistol or revolver or something. And we got to find a key, and so I love it. I love that we get little side missions where you got to do fun stuff like that. So we pick up a crossbow, we pick up a shotgun, and then we pick up the crossbow. We get a little flashback because remember Mason used the shotgun when he was like under the numbers, the whole situation, and so he has like a little moment. It's not very long, but it's a nice callback. So good stuff. And then we kill a bunch of dudes. We eventually find the key. We head back. We get the pistol, the Magnum, and then we meet up with Woods, and he's killing dudes. And we're like, hey, let's get the fuck out of here. And at this point, we're looking for, like, the base is kind of abandoned, but we're looking for the mainframe because apparently all these guys are still here because they're trying to yank this mainframe out of, like, the basement of something. So they dug, like, a big hole and blasted it up. And the mainframe is gigantic. It's like a story tall. Like, yeah, it's like a small room. Like, it's pretty big because, you know, the 80s and computers and stuff. And so we get to the dig site. We assault the shit out of that, kill a bunch of dudes, kill more dudes, and then we get in there and we hop on top of the mainframe and start defending it from all the Ruskies. And that's when we call Belkov in, and he comes in and grabs it with the helicopter and lifts it up. And we have a fun little scene where it's just slowly being rised up, and we're just killing dudes as it's rising and whatnot. And once that gets finished, like, hooray, let's go! And we take it all the way back to West Berlin, apparently through Russia. They're in this Russian helicopter. Like, how the fuck we're supposed to get this thing back? Maybe we just take it somewhere else, analyze the data, and blow it up. I don't know. Because you don't see it in your, like, hideout, but yeah, you're talking about all the data from it. Because back at the hideout we go. And then the mainframe contained information on sleeper agents. Remember, if you remember back to Black Ops 1, all the sleeper agents that Dragovich had, apparently Perseus wanted that too. And he got to it first because he deleted it all. And it's like, damn, we need the sleeper agent information so we can reverse engineer these people or just like follow them so we can find Perseus, we can stop him from the nuke and all this stuff. And it's like, all right, well, the only other place that has the double agent list is the KGB headquarters. And everyone's like, well, we're fucked. And then someone's like, nah, we got this. Belkov, he works there, so he'll help us out. And then Hudson gets like real concerned about Bell going inside KGB headquarters. And Adler's like, shut the fuck up, he needs to come. And they get into like a mom and dad are fighting again kind of spat. And eventually Hudson gives up. He's like, whatever. And then we can talk to Hudson about Belkov, and he's like, I trust Belkov more than I trust any of you assholes. We also chat to Laser and Sims about how Laser has a little crushy crush on Park. And it's like, yeah, she's a cutie, I get it, homie. So then we ask about Adler's scar on his face that Park told us not to ask about earlier, and he straight up is just like, I got into a fight with a tiger. And I'm like, that sounds like some bullshit, but whatever. And then we go talk to Park, and we notice that she has a scar on her neck, and so we ask about that, and she's like, nope, go fuck yourself. And we're like, got it. Oh, so hot. Anyway, so before we head up KGB headquarters, it's time to do one of these side missions because we've now attained enough evidence to do all like the mini game. So the mini game is we like look at one thing and then we get like we get some numbers off that, and then we look at another thing and get some numbers off that, and then we like combine the numbers with like a third sheet to figure out like the code phrase. And once we get the code phrase, we unlock a disc, and the disc gives us some bullshit information, but and we don't even need it. It's like once it's unlocked, it's like, congratulations, you've unlocked it. Or the game is like very funny about it. It's like, oh, did you unlock it? Or we'll see, I guess. And I'm like, oh, fuck yourself, game. And then we go play Operation Chaos. And Operation Chaos is ridiculous because it's like, we gotta go kill this guy. How are we gonna do that? He's staying at this hotel in like, I don't know, New Mexico. Right? This spy guy. And so we assault this motel. It's on top of a hill next to like a, it's not like an RV camp, but it's kind of like an RV camp. And so we do, and there's just like hundreds of these like Russian operatives just all hanging out here. And then so Woods and I, we like helicopter in, and we're like boom, and then we like boom, 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 but it's just like kill, kill, blow, blow. We have these big ass guns and like a grenade launcher, and I pick up a sniper rifle at some point, and it's just like merc, 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 kill everybody, kill, kill, kill. We get to the hotel room, we do the Call of Duty like slow mo, like blast the door, kick the door open, and kill, 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 and then we get a confirmed kill by taking a picture because this game loves using that fucking camera. Oh goodness. And then we go out and the helicopter gets shot down by like an RPG because there's more. There's like 100 more. There's like goddamn, so many fucking Russian. Like, how? How is this happening? And we just like kill a bunch more guys, get another helicopter, get in that one, and get the fuck out of there. Hoorah! Oh, good lord. That takes us back to the safe house, where it's time to play Belkov in the KGB headquarters. At this juncture, it's time to take control of Belkov in the KGB headquarters. And this level is why, no matter how much I feel indifferent towards Call of Duty generally, I keep coming back to these games. Especially since, as funny as it sounds, I like the Infinity War games before they went and became like whatever makes Apex Legends. Remedy? No, that's something else. Anyway, because Treyarch and Raven and Sledgehammer or whatever, it's like some of their games are janky, and I don't give a fuck about the multiplayer, so I don't have any comment about that. But these stories in these games and like the level designs are fun, and they mix them up. So here we go. We're Belkov, and we're in KGB headquarters, and the whole beginning of this mission is just us having like an open world like Hitman experience, essentially, where, well, at first we're sitting there and we get a phone call, and it's Adler. Yeah, just want to make sure it's not Hudson. Yeah, it's Adler, and he's pretending that he's calling the Slovakian embassy or something, and we're like, oh no, wrong number. And then we decrypt the phone call, or encrypt the phone call, so that we can get the message that, hey, they're coming, we got to do this thing, we got to get access to the bunker so they can get access to the list, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, got it. And at that point, we get summoned by Gorbachev, who's the premier of Russia. Is that the head of the Communist Party? Is the premier, I think? Anyway, into a security meeting, because there's some concerns about a mole at the KGB. Obviously, that's true because Belkov is the mole, and we just did some mole-like behavior. But we're also like, I thought someone said we're head of security for the KGB headquarters, but then we get to this meeting, and bump, it's Kravchenko. Holy shit, that guy lived too? I had to look this up. I was like, this game is not telling me what happened with Woods and Kravchenko. Now, the Vita game that I wasn't able to play, but when I was reading about it, did kind of imply that Woods was he was a POW at some point, and I'm like, oh, he wasn't a POW in Black Ops, so that must have been something must have happened. And apparently, I don't know where this information's from. This is from like the fandom website, but I don't know what game it mentions this. But apparently, Kravchenko and Woods, when they fell out of the window, something caught his like grenade belt that the grenade was in, Kravchenko's grenade belt, and so they both fell, like hit the ground, like got injured, went unconscious, but the grenades didn't kill him. So then we escaped, blah, 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 blah. And then the Russians came and they grabbed Kravchenko because he's one of their guys, so he's good. But then basically got taken to like some Vietnamese like prison camp. And then he eventually escaped from there. So, okay, so he's here. That's great. And he's also the head of security. I don't know, he's doing some investigation with like servers or like messages or something. And he's like, he believes Belkov's the mole, but he needs to get proof first. And then also, we run into Zakharov. So if you've played Modern Warfare, like the original one, I don't know anything about the new one, the 2019 one, but the one that came out in like 2006 or 7, Zakharov was like, he's like the one who set the whole thing off. Like he's a Russian ultra nationalist, and then we go back in time with Price at some point and blow his arm off. But at the beginning of the game, he's like kind of around, and then his protege is Makarov, who's the main protagonist for like Call of Duty 2 and 3, kind of. There's also Shepard, but we'll see if these games keep going with that. But it's like, wow, we got a 2-for-1 in this like meeting. That's crazy. And so then Gorbachev questions us about some stuff, and then at some point he's like, well, we need a key. Who's going to maintain the key to the bunker, which is what Adler and Bell need to get into. And, there's all these options, but at the end of the day, what happens is this general, I don't remember his name because I never really ran into him, but this general, somebody, is going to be the one to hold the key. He's some trusted general. So then, at this point, this is where it becomes like an open world. So we have the whole KGB headquarters, and there's all these things we can do, and we can knock out guards and drag them away. And also, because we saved that Richter guy instead of killing him, in like way back with in the one mission with Grace and everything, where we were hunting down Volkov, he's here and he's getting recruited to the KGB. And so we also get a request that like, hey, from Adler, that like, hey, by the way, we have this guy, he's like a double agent, triple agent thing. If you can take care of him, that'd be great. And so he's here too. So you can or cannot take care of him. It's up to you. It might affect the ending. I don't know. Okay, so there's various different things you can do. So the big things are you can go to the server, and in the building, and you go to the server room, you can see that they suspect you, and they have like evidence of you contacting outside people or whatever, and you can change that from you to the other general, and then they arrest him and take it. There's a political prisoner that you can go in, and if you help him, he will attack and kill this guy because you like saved his family. You can sneak into his office and kill him or take it from him. You can go to the armory and give that guy like a Cuban cigar, and then he'll let you like go into like the back area and make like a copy of the key. So there's a bunch of different ways you can go about it, and you can kind of like half do all these things. I was doing one, and then I got something else, and then I bumped into something else, and then I went and talked to somebody else because I was looking for like the evidence for like the side mission. Which, if you're playing this game and you're not finding it, apparently the key is you got to start the mission over, and the first thing you do after you leave the briefing is go into the camera room and shut the cameras down and knock that guy out and hide him. All right. So as soon as you do that, if you go to like the records room, which you can open a map and see where stuff's at, it's there, but apparently it moves around too. But like, because as soon as you start doing one of the quests, it moves around randomly or some bullshit. I don't know. There was a lot of talk on the forums about different stuff, but that you just reset the mission as many times as you need to, and eventually it'll pop up in the records room, and it's just really easy to pick up and grab. Okay. So like I said, I initially was like, okay, I'm going to go to the server. I like snuck down there, killed some guys or knocked them out, threw them in closets and whatnot. And then I got like a cigar, and then I was upstairs trying to do something else because I was, again, looking for this evidence, and I completed another quest. So eventually how I ended up doing it was I just made a copy of the key card in the armory after doing like 3 other quests. So that was fun. Anyway, so then we take that key card and we head down into this, like, because I keep talking about the bunker, and so I'm heading down, and I'm like, is this the bunker? Because I'm like going down into this place, and I have to like get access to it, and there's all this stuff. But no, it's just like the basement, I guess. And so in the basement, we go to like this back area, and we signal. We do like a signal, and then Adler and Bell come out. And apparently, if you look, we never know what Bell looks like because Bell's us. But if you look like real close, you'll see that Bell is using the Hudson model, I guess. Again, according to autistic people on the internet. Anyway, Belkov's like, hey, I'm going to go help you get some uniforms. So he summons some guards. He's like, hey, this door is open. What the fuck's going on? And then Adler and I, now it's Bell, so we were playing Belkov this whole time, but now we're playing Bell, are like, we jump them, and then we just knock them out with our, strangling powers, and then we put on their uniforms, and then we follow Belkov, or he's like, all right, I'll see you guys later. So then we have a bag with all our weapons, and so we head up, and then Adler is like, hey, we're not going through that front gate. Both of us speak fluent Russian, apparently, with accents and everything. So good job, super geniuses. But we try to go in through like the back door, and then some guard stops us. He's like, oh, everyone. It's like, oh, no, we work here. And it's like, no, everybody has to go through the gate. Like, all right. And so Adler goes through, and then we go through, but the bag pings, and so we put it on the desk for the guy to search, and then Belkov like wanders over. He's like, hey, comrade, so-and-so's looking for you. I got this. Don't worry about it. And so he like gives us like a high five, essentially, and says like, take your bag full of weapons and go. And then he meanders off. And then at that point, we head to the elevator, which the elevator apparently is going to take us downstairs, which is going to get us to the actual bunker, which is going to have the knock list that we're actually looking for or whatever. And so we, as we get down the elevator, Adler's like, all right, time to shine. And we pull out when we first get in the elevator, we start heading down. Zakharev, whatever you pronounce his name. He shows up, and then there's like various ways you can handle this guy. You can just be like, cool, bro, because, Belkov gives you some information. He's like, hey, if anyone asks, you work for General so-and-so, and say this in this situation. Kind of like in World War II, only this is much better, the way it's handled, in my opinion. So when we're down there, he'll like ask a question, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, we work for so-and-so. We're going this thing. He's like, oh, good. I will go talk to him. I'm talking to him right now, so I'll bring it up. And you're like, cool, man, because we're like new, and, he doesn't recognize us. And obviously, if you're working in like the same office all the time and some 2 new bros are showing up, you're going to like question it. That's just like normal reality. And so, so then we get to the bunker, and as soon as Zakharov leaves, he's like, all right, here you go. And we take out our rifles, and then we bust up, the elevator opens, and we just like wander up, start killing Ruskies, and we kill through like this bunker area. And then we get to like the end of like part 1, and we open up like a AC unit or whatever, and put in like this bomb that is, has like a gas or whatever, as like a fallback plan. And then we kill some more, and then we get to the back area where it's like we got to use an old 1980s computer to like copy a 10 kilobyte file onto like a floppy disk, which is going to take like 10 minutes because it's the 1980s. Well, it's like 1981, like Lord Christ. That was a long time ago. But as we're doing that, we get attacked by a bunch of dudes. And we don't get any like heavies per se, but we get some beefy hombres. And so once we kill all them and get the disc, then it's time to get out of there. And so we rush out, and then the whole place is like, you better surrender. If you don't surrender, we're gonna kill you, and yada yada. And we fight, and we fight some more. And then we get to like another part, and we see Belkov being held at gunpoint, and they're like, you better give up, or we're gonna kill this motherfucker, or like you're gonna pay. And Adler's like, gas him. And so then we set the gas off, and everyone starts choking and passing out or whatever, and then we throw on our gas mask, and then we bust open the door and we run out and we throw a gas mask on Belkov, and then he joins us. Now it's a trio of badasses killing Russians in the KGB headquarters. Like, Lord Christ, give me strength. It's awesome. It's so good. This level is so good. It's like across the board. It's got like sneaky stealth. It's got interactions. It's got different kind of like pathways you can take. That, I mean, they all go the same way. It's not like that. It's not like a visual novel game or anything like that. But it's just fun. It's like, and then we just get to like go crazy. And then at some point, Adler's like, "Hey, Belkov, we need some like more serious attire to bust our way out of here." And he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a room over here." And then we put on like the heavy armor that the heavies are using, and we get big ass shotguns, and we can get like a minigun, and we're just like blasting the shit out of people as we like just slow walk our way out of the fucking KGB. It's a lot like that last level in Modern Warfare 3, the original one. It's just awesome. It's just super fun. And then we get out there, and Laser's waiting for us with his car, and we like hop in, and then we have like unlimited ammo and grenades. We can just blow the shit out of people. So because Adler's like got our back, so we can get in the vehicle, and then we get set up in the vehicle. We can kill more dudes, and Adler like slides across the fucking back of the car and hops in, and we just like drive off and kill some more dudes, and it's like, got him. So back in the safe house, everyone's getting briefed about this guy. So we have the knock list, and we found this guy in Salt Lake City called Hastings or whatever. And he knows about the nukes and all that stuff, and about what's going to happen if the nuke goes off and all that. It kind of everyone's like sped up on like Operation Greenlight. Yep, that's what it's called. And then like Woods gets teased because they're like, "I bet Woods is super excited to go back there," and he's like, "Fuck you, man." That's because he didn't kill Castro last time. I love it. We then go and chat with the loving couple of Mason and Woods, who are sitting jauntily in the back of this van, and we're like, "Hey, we're super excited to meet you. You're like heroes." And they're like, "Oh, we're heroes, sweetie. Isn't that great? This guy loves it." It's like they're straight up written like an old gay couple. Like, I was like, the whole time I was like, the fuck is going on? Like, who wrote this shit? It's not that like over, like they're holding hands or anything, but I'm just like, this is not how two bros like hang out together. Like, it's like this guy never had male friends, or was written by a woman. It was probably written by a woman, to be completely honest. Anyway, we chat to Hudson too, and he's still kind of an asshole, but he's like less of an asshole, I guess. And I can't find anyone else because they're all hiding out in like this back room having like secret talk, and we can kind of listen in, but we can't really figure out what they say. Anyway, so we got the evidence. Like I said, I had to repeat that fucking level so I could get the evidence. So I have all the evidence for what's it called? Operation Red Circus. And this is another completely absurd mission. This one has a time limit. So after we do our little mini game and like figure out all the people who are like, we have a list of people, and it's like, who are the agents, the double agents, and who are not. And so we have to like, God, how the hell do we do this one? We get profiles. We get 3 different profiles of like, oh, this person bought a hotel or paid for a hotel room on this date in this city. And then we go to like the 10 profiles or so we have, and we have to figure out who matches those, and then we click on them, and then we start the mission. At that point, we Oh, yeah. Okay, so then we play Mason again with Woods. Woods is going to do an overlook, and it's like, all right, we got to find this general in Russia or something, and we have 12 minutes to do it. So then we just run from building to building to building. There's like 5 buildings, and if you go to the correct building first, the game tells you to go fuck yourself. So we go from building to building to building. Every time we go to a building, it's like, he's not in here. Go to the next building, and we just get like sniper. It's like crazy. It is like it's like fucking Twisted Metal. Like there's just guys popping up everywhere, and you just kill, and then you go to the next building, and there's guys popping up there. And a couple times I just got killed because I guess I missed a guy, and he like ran up and stabbed me in the back, right? Because it's like one of those things where it's like I had like full health, and then I instant died, and like, you know, there's no health bar, but I wasn't seeing red, and then I was just dead, and I was like, the fuck. Anyway, so then I had to slow it down a little bit, but you have plenty of time. And by the time you get to like, I want to say the 5th building, after going back, and it's literally like you go to this building, then you go to the building over there, then a building over, and the game tells you what buildings you have to go to, right? It gives you like multiple options, but anyway, so you go back and forth a bit. You finally get to the right building. You kick open like a door, like a fancy door, and then you kill that guy, and then it's like, all right, time to go. So we'll go up to the roof, throw some smoke so the helicopter knows to pick us up, and then we just kill some more guys for a while until the helicopter shows up, and then we hop in there and we pick up Woods and we exfil out of there. So fun. That was a fun level. Anyway, so back to the main story. All right, so we break up into two teams. Adler goes with Mason and Woods, and they're going to assault the front, and then Park and Laser and I are going to go in from the flank. And so we're just hanging out outside this old like Cuban building, like not a church, but like I don't even know what to call it, like a mission or something. I don't know. So we're just hanging out there, and then it's Adler calls and he's like, "You all ready?" And then Park's like, "We're go." And then you hear an explosion, and like, "All right, let's cover the flank." And we run through this building, and then we just get to like Park, Woods, and Mason without even like seeing a single bad guy. And then we all assault the front of this other building, and I was like, that was not what I was promised when someone said let's assault the flank. Whatever. So we assault the main building, and it's pretty good. We just kill. We get inside, we kill some more, we run around. We're with Laser and Park the whole time. I don't know what happened to Mason, Woods, and Adler. They're like doing something else, I guess. And then eventually we start seeing scientists, and we can save some of them, and if we do, we get like a little, it wasn't like a trophy or whatever, but something else popped up, and I was like, is this going to affect the ending? I don't know. Again, it seemed to do nothing. Soon enough, though, we enter the main area with the nuke, and there's Hastings, the guy from Salt Lake, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I did a terrible thing. Oh, it's awful. I'm so sorry." And then Park's like, "Shut the fuck up and tell us where Perseus is." "Oh, he's gone. He left." And it's like, "Why did he leave the nuke?" It's like, he doesn't need the nuke. He had us reverse engineer the nuke so that he could gain control of all the nukes for Operation Greenlight, which is all the nukes all over Europe. And we're like, "Oh shit, this is so much worse than we thought it was gonna be." And it's like, fuck, we gotta get out of here now, because the Cubans are like coming en masse. So we run up to the roof, and then we just fight some guys, and at some point we call them like an A-10 for like 5 seconds. Literally. Like 5, no more than a minute. Like, it's not even like that much of a portion of a game. Like, it's like, call the A-10, you call the A-10, and like I killed like 3 groups of guys, and then another group of guys showed up, and I killed them, and then the A-10 left. And it was like super fast, and it was like, congratulations, you killed I got like a trophy for like killing everybody in the level. And I was like, okay. And then we threw our balloon up in the air so that we can get our airlift, or God, there's a term for it. I don't remember. Anyway, so, and we're doing fine, and then all of a sudden we got blown up by a rocket. Oh no! First of all, we latch ourselves on to this thing. And then it's like, then we get blown up, and then it's like, oh no, the plane's coming right now. We gotta choose between Park or Laser. And of course I fucking chose Park. Get out of here. Like, who? I guarantee if I saw the stats on this thing, it would be like 99.85% chose Park. Like, she's a cute British girl. Like, 100% of the people who play this game are dudes. Like, I can't even imagine the person who's going to choose Laser over Park. Like, there's an instinct built into human beings to protect women, first of all. Second of all, she's cute and sassy. Like, you got to make like an active choice. Like, you got to be like, everything in my soul is telling me to rescue the woman, and I'm gonna rescue the guy because we're bros. I don't know. Like, I was like, what kind of choice is this? Like, should be, if it was a choice between like Laser and Adler, that would make. But that's a much more like, God damn, I don't like either of these guys that much. And that's the thing. Park's spoken to us multiple times, like helped us out. Laser we like barely speak to. He's like, oh yeah, I was in Mossad. And first of all, I'm like, fuck that guy. And MI6 has never done anything inherently bad towards me or my existence or the country I live in, but Mossad has done tons. Like, fuck Mossad. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so then we rip out of there, and then we like wake up in the house, God, what do you call that fucking thing? The safe house, and we're getting dragged by Sims, and then Adler helps throw me up on a gurney, and I'm like, oh, I must have got injured pretty bad. But at the same time, it seems like they might have drugged me or like knocked. It's like someone else hit me. I don't know. Because then as they're like, we're on a gunny, they're like strapped down on a gunny, which is like a way you carry like injured people through a hospital, right? And then we see Park, and she's like, hey, I owe you so much. Thanks for saving my life. Like, we just need you to do like one more thing, and that's tell us where Perseus is. And I'm like, why the fuck would I know where Perseus is? And then they drag us into that room they would never let us into. And then Park and Adler get into like a discussion about injecting us with something and how it's too much and how it's gonna break me or something. And then he's like, fuck it, we don't have any more time. We also get a conversation before this whole thing happens, and it's about like Hudson and Black talking about like, is this Bell's fault? Did Bell do this? And Hudson's like, I don't know, maybe. We gotta figure it out though. And then after we get shot, we have like a real acid trip of a time because we essentially we're reliving this like attack on like this Vietnam area and then this cave with like Russians in it. And then like we can like Adler's trying to walk us through it. He's like, all right, and then you went to the cave, and we can actively not do that, but it doesn't matter. So it just keeps reloading different stuff, and then we get like trapped in like an office, walking around, and then we get big, and like it's so trippy, y'all. It's like fucking, it's so trippy. But at the end of the day, eventually we remember that Bro, Bell, whoever we actually are, which is our name, because the whole game it's just like Bell, and then once you get past this level, it's like your name. So it's like Comrade Bell Bear. I don't like they got me. Those motherfuckers, they figured it out. Lord. Okay. Anyway, so we were one of Perseus's like inner circle. There was like us and Perseus and Arash and some other fucking dudes, Kravchenko maybe. I don't remember. But we're all working together, and like we're all gonna get revenge against the West and fuck the West, and they've stolen so much from us, and we're Russian ultranationalists and all that bullshit. Anyway, and we don't trust Russia either because Gorbachev's a little bitch, which I guess I don't know much about him, to be completely honest. Anyway, and so we're like driving. So we go back to like the first mission of this game, and we're driving with Arash, and Arash is telling us like, oh yeah, we're gonna fly this plane to Druga, and there we're gonna kill all like the mercenaries, all like the hired guns, and bury them in the woods, or Volkov's gonna take care of them, and then we're gonna go to like this place like Solovetsky in Russia, and that's where that's the headquarters. That's where we're gonna set the nuke off, or that's where we're gonna take control of all the nukes or whatever. And we're just like, yeah. And then once we pull up, Arash just hops out, and he's like, hey, I don't like you very much because Perseus likes you too much, and I don't like that. I don't like the what do you call it? I don't like the not the challenge, the competition. I don't like the competition for being Perseus's like best boy. So he shoots us. So we're the guy at the very beginning. Remember, we're like watching him, and then like the thing rolls up, and then Arash walks out, and then he turns around and shoots somebody in the Jeep. That's us. And what happened was after the whole ridiculous like airplane chase and crash with Mason Woods and Adler, Adler came back and found that we were still alive, or alive enough, and so he took us, and they used God, what's that fucking thing called? It's on the tip of my tongue. The CIA thing where they mind control people. Anyway, they used a bunch of techniques from that to like implant fake memories into us to make us think that we have known Adler forever and that we served in Vietnam together. That whole Vietnam mission is just bullshit, apparently. And that whole trip down memory lane, yeah. So then, and this other implanted memory, and there's all these implanted memories and whatnot. And then we start having like a recollection, kind of like Mason did in Black Ops 1, about like, oh shit, that was a lie, that was interesting, they were saying that. Like, it goes back to like what I was saying at the very beginning of this video. In that first level, it's just like that whole Vietnam like reenactment just seemed like really sketchy as shit, right? Because it was like an implanted memory. So it's like we're hearing things with this, and then there was like a code phrase. I don't know if I wrote the code phrase down, but it was like, let's go get it, or attaboy, or some bullshit like that. Every time they said that was like the code word to like implant more memories. And so MK Ultra, that's the CIA thing. That's a real thing too. Anyway, all right, so then we get a choice. We get a choice to either we can lie about where Perseus is and send everybody to Druga, or we can tell the truth and everybody can go to, I have it written down here, Solovetsky. Sorry, I was driving. I didn't want to crash. All right, so I choose to tell the truth because that's what Park wants, and I'm a simp Park at this point. I'm a simp for Park and her little picky nose, short dark hair. My precious. So of course I do what she wants. Hell yeah, I've been doing what she wants this whole time, motherfuckers. If you haven't figured out I'm a Park simp, get over yourselves. And that's when we begin the final mission. And it's just like this ridiculous scene where it's like we're in an aircraft carrier, and the Mason and Woods, like the cute old couple, are like holding hands and walking down the airway with Mason with his like Guido fucking comb over shit. Not a comb over, it's a greased over hair, and Woods just looking like hard as fuck. and then and then Adler's just like smoking, looking stoic and American and shit. And these like planes are flying in the background. I was like, this is almost as bad as the end of Black Ops 1 with that whole ridiculous bullshit. Anyway. So we roll in, we're in the back of like a Humvee or something, and we got a grenade launcher, and we're just blowing shit out of towers. And these are like wood shanty towers for some reason on this like small Russian island. Anyway, so we blow the shit out of a bunch of stuff, and then we hop out of the Jeep, and it's like, all right, so we gotta get these AA guns down before the bombers can come and destroy everything, before they like launch off all this nuke attack. So that's the plan. So we destroy one AA gun, and then Woods and Mason break off to go take care of another AA gun, because there's always three, because it's a fucking video game. And then Adler and I go take the other one, and then at some point, Hudson's like, I gotta send these bombers, or we gotta call this shit off. And Adler's like, send them! And like, we haven't got the last AA gun, we got 1 minute to do it! And it's like, okay, cool, so we push and get a minigun at some point, and that was cool, and then we push, and then we blow up the AA gun, or I don't think we even blow it up. We kill everybody around it, and then we put the C4 on the AA gun, which at this point, like, why? And then we get blown up, because the bombers come, and they blow the shit out of everything. And then we go to Black. Black's reporting into Reagan about the success of the mission, and then we get cute little epilogues about everybody. And this is out of order, because I shouldn't do it in order. I was like typing this up, and then I rewatched my own video of myself playing this, and I was like, I'm not going to change the order of this. Anyway, so Lasers is dead. The Cubans got him real good. And the Americans recovered the body, and they took it back to Tel Aviv to be with his family, and Reagan called and apologized and probably gave him a whole bunch of money or some shit. Our beautiful Belle, or not, we're Belle, our beautiful Park, went back to MI6, and she got Volkov to like reveal everything and like turn coat on the Russians, and then she got assigned to run a task force going after Perseus, so good for her. She's the best. I hope we someday see her again, but we probably won't. Afterwards, let's see. Okay, yeah. Belle gets rescued by Woods and Mason and Adler. So I barely survived, and then we all are able to get off the island before the Ruskies take over. Perseus got away, and then the game, as part of this epilogue, is like, Kair and Asher are dead. And I was like, yeah, motherfucker, I killed both of them. Like, how is this news? Anyway, I guess the Russians went in and like destroyed their whole cells and just like burned it to the fucking ground. It talked about Volkov and Beautiful Park. I succeeded in both the side missions, so I got everybody, I guess. So I got like a happier ending, I guess, in that regard. And then at the very end, Adler is walking with me and Adler, or Belle and Adler, are just standing on like this ridge overlooking the ocean, and he's talking about the Arctic air. So I guess like wherever we're at is in the Arctic Circle. And he's just talking about how fresh it is and cool and whatever. And then he talks about sacrifices and how Belle sacrificed so much, and he sacrificed twice, and he's got one more sacrifice to make. And then we both pull out our pistols, and then the screen goes dark, and you hear bang, and you don't know what happens. I know what happens because I play Black Ops 6, but technically you don't know what happens. So yeah, that's Call of Duty Cold War, or Black Ops 5, technically, I guess. It's not called Black Ops 5, but it's definitely like... I mean, all the Call of Duties in this modern are clearly related. Like after I saw Zakharov, I was like, okay, these things are all there is a continuous timeline with the new games that kind of runs through this whole thing. Like the World War II is like the least connected out of all the games, because I don't really remember if there's I don't think there's any like direct connection, but whatever. There probably is something I'm just not paying attention to. But everything else, there's like connections, there's through lines to the whole thing, so that's fun. Okay, next up is going to be Black Ops 2, which is going to be interesting because it's like future and right after this. It's like this whole game took place in like 1981, I think. It's like within a few months, like January to March-ish timeframe. I think Black Ops takes place in like 82 onward, and then in like the far future, like 100 years or like something. But we'll see when we get there. Oh, sorry, I dropped my phone. Okay, anyway, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you guys later. All right, bye.